Welcome to Cardinal Industries. In the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you about manufacturing, how we started, where we are, and where we are going in the future. How we made the transition from the component business to the modular industry. I've been with Cardinal Industries since 1968. I was a liaison between engineering and the customer, represented at Cardinal into the field, and how we built trusses and components, and we were shipping in a 5-state radius. My background in regards to that brings you back into the building industry since age 16, working summers while I was in high school, and actually going into business myself and being a contractor. At that time I'd met Austin Gerlinger, came to Cardinal Industries, and worked for approximately 2 years while we were in the component business. We actually made the transition from the component business into modular manufacturing approximately 1970. Reasons we did this is, one, we would have steady employment, we would not have layoffs, we would not have to wait till the last minute when our customers would put their orders in. We didn't have to worry about the weather outside, such as snows or rain, to slow our business down. I was flying back from Chicago one night with Austin in regards to a tour we had been on up in that area, and he made a little drawing for me on a napkin that drew out a one-bedroom unit. This one-bedroom unit, which would then go into 2 cubes, and he thought the timing was absolutely at the right point in life that we would go into modular manufacturing, based on the state of Ohio now had an industrialized code. We then went into a prototype design in the next 5 months. Engineering was doing their specific drawings detailing how this modular would be designed and would be manufactured. In the manufacturing area, we went out and set up a temporary prototype line where eventually we would build 12 original prototypes. Now that one-bedroom unit, we went back and used the Henry Ford technique. You could have anything you wanted as long as it was green, and it had white shutters, and also it only had green shag carpet. I hired the original 14 people that came into this factory, while the component business was shoved to the back of the factory. As we completed that, we started building modules. Piece by piece, jigs, monorails were put in. We then fed those built-up components to a deck on a mini assembly line, and we then fed it down through that assembly line, picking up the parts and pieces. It was quite a transition for us because at this time we had to hire electricians, drywall finishers. We had to learn to be able to finish drywall in a matter of 90 minutes using a quick setting material. In doing this, it took a lot of concentration on the employees' part to be able to finish this drywall on a timely basis, work with a quick setting material that we have never had before. The electricians then had to wire, reroute items, take them down through the unit, send them to the areas that they needed to be installed as we put this box together. We totally started out with a type of unit that had trusses, not panels. We were not satisfied with the trusses. We then changed that, went into panel design, put drywall to them, and we literally built that box many times over to be able to prove that it would work for modular style manufacturing. In the process of doing this, we had all the component machinery that was in the rear of the plant. People from all over the country were coming in buying that machinery. They thought that possibly Austin had maybe lost something along the way because he was going to go into this modular manufacturing, build this one-bedroom unit that was only green, and not offer any other products. They were a little confused, but Austin had an idea. He had an intent, and he knew that he could get into really mass producing of housing. We have done that over the years. We've expanded from that 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom unit by literally spreading the 1-bedroom box apart and inserting a 3rd cube. And in doing this, we then expanded into an efficiency unit, or maybe better known as a studio. And eventually we got into motel units, which you will learn about more at a later date. Into this transition, going from building little parts and pieces, one at a time, bringing him to a main assembly line, has been expanded upon. Our goals are to be able to build more subcomponents off the line and feed them to a main assembly line completed. Our goals to start with were to just build the box totally on the assembly line, do all the work on the assembly line. The future has brought us into a little different technique. We have now taken and built those subcomponents down to the point finishing the drywall. We finished the wall techs. We've hung towel bars, cabinets. We're building a total core line, picking that core line up, setting it on the module as it comes down through the factory. We have went to the point of taking our ceiling panel, totally suspending it from a support system where we can finish it, we insulate it, we will be automatically spraying it. As it goes to the assembly line, we will then pick it up, set it on the module, totally complete. This has reduced our time. Other areas we have covered and changed in this factory is we went into the wiring area. We have automatic strippers. We have automatic links. Everything is predetermined. They cut it to that predetermined length, take it to the areas that it is used. Fixtures are pre-assembled. They are then taken to the area where they are installed. We then get back to the point that we have a roof panel that totally is completely framed. It has 12-foot wide felt. And by the way, that 12-foot wide felt was found way back in about 1972, 73, where the old style of construction was taking a 3-foot roll of felt, rolling each independent piece out on a roof. We went to a company by the name of Mannington Mills, who at that time designed and built for us 12-foot wide felt. We were able to take that 12-foot wide felt, roll it out in one piece. They're also helping eliminate leaks, sealing our roof better, and we were able to install it on our roof. You will see as the module moves down the line, we then install the roofing, and the roofing is installed up off the floor. Our people are suspended off the floor, laying the shingles where they are up out of the way of everybody else doing their work. You'll see pre-assembled trim parts go into the unit. They are there assembled on a much faster pace, and by the time it gets to the end of the assembly line, it is ready just to do the cleaning and the minor touch-up. All along the way, you will see quality control inspectors. They will be checking the units. They will make sure that it is done to the precision that we have asked that it be done. Total control over the installation of all of our parts, our fixtures, and our carpet, right down to the towel bars, are detailed all alone. I think we will take you down to the factory floor and we'll tell you a little bit more about each of these areas as we go through manufacturing. I can only start. I don't know how good. Sidewall area where we build these sidewalls, 2x3s, 16 on center. They are glued, drywall is put into place, and it is screwed down. We then pick it up on the monorail system, change it to the bridge crane, which will put it into the automatic line, which feeds it into the assembly line. On these lines, while the panels are put into place here, They are fed to the main assembly line. Drywall finishing is completed at this point, and then the wall text is applied, where at the other end we will now pick it up and we will stick it onto the cube as it comes down the main assembly line. Cut. In this area is where we frame up the 2x3 walls. Everything is glued, nailed together, and then we put glue on and we will be installing the drywall. We have the bulk gluing, which we're now applying the glue to the studs. Then the drywall will be placed over the top and screwed down. Interior panels, this is for a bath. There again, we frame them up, we glue them, put the plywood down, everything is screwed down. We pick that panel up and we will take it over, put it into this rack. Then we will pre-wire it. Drywall work will be finished. We'll then go and it'll be inserted into the core line, which then again feeds into the main assembly line. Plumbing tree, which will be going into our wet core. We assemble the wet core here, the 8 or 9 wet cores at one time on assembly line, feeding to the main assembly line. When it gets to the other end, it's then picked up and set on the main assembly line.
Is that the right one? Oh, okay. My fault.
We now install the corners, the closets, the drywall that's needed, the linen cabinets, the wall text, the finishing will be done here, all pre-wiring, and the balance of the plumbing, including the tub and the shower, will be installed at this location. The deck has been prefabricated, has been moved to the main assembly line. The floor has been sprayed. We are now laying floor tile into place. The deck will then pick up a zone line, which the zone line will be placed on the deck. And you'll also see the cabinets have been placed along the assembly line, where the cabinets will be put onto the deck to be installed later at a station. The deck has had the prefabricated plumbing tree has been installed, and the module now starts moving down, where it will pick up the wet core, and the wet core will be put in position. Sidewall area, where the sidewall then is being moved automatically to the end of the line. The drywall work has been completed. The wall text has been installed. Here the panel will be picked up and put onto the assembly line. Many years ago, we actually put that wall into place, and we actually finished those wall panels inside the box. As you can see now, the wall comes completed. It's got the wall switch already installed. Everything is done right here, rather than inside the box. The wall is installed, the cabinets have been installed. The cube is pretty much totally assembled here. It will be pre-wired, and then the ceiling panel will be put into place. How you doing? This is our wall text area. In this area, we buy factory bolts of wall text, 54 inches wide, direct from the manufacturer. In using this wall text material, we have been able to reduce our time from a painted surface from 15-minute touch-up, where it used to take us an hour and a half. We'll show you how it is when we cut the material now. In this area, the worker pulls the wall text off the roll, puts it into position, cuts it for length, then it's rolled up and it's sent to the department where it is needed. We are now in our roof area, where we take all the parts and we build that panel up. We glue it. We use extra big sheets of wafer board, which we have worked with our vendor in using these large sheets. We, in this type of modular manufacturing, have the ability to take vacuum lift, handle 8 by 12 sheets, put them into position on that panel and nail them. That gives us a big edge over our competitors out in the field where they can only use 4x8 sheets. We then take that roof panel, we'll swing it over into position where we will install it onto the module. It will be fastened down. We will then take 12-foot wide felt, which there again, our vendors have been able to work with us, make us 12-foot wide felt, roll it out. We also have extra large size insulation. It works as a blanket that will insulate our cube. We then put the roofing into place, and as the module moves down the line, you will see the workers installing the roofing. I stand. We are now approaching the end of the assembly line where all the finished touches are put on to this module. We receive all the doors, everything is checked out, the windows will be cleaned, and the unit will totally be sealed up. The on-site materials will be shipped inside the box. We now also, QA comes in, they do the final inspections, they check the box out from top to end. It will be sealed up and it will be shipped out on trailers. We got into this and you've seen basically what is our newest factory today. The design of that factory has taken many years. There's been a great evolution in the design of this factory and the flow. Remember, the real technique is to have subcomponent parts flow into the assembly line. Those subcomponent parts are to be as completed as much as possible. Being in modular manufacturing gives us the opportunity to design a product and keep bettering that design. We are doing that every day. And remember, in the first year and a half, we only built a one-bedroom. Today we build one-bedrooms, twos, studios, motels, efficiencies, congregate living. We also build the product in regards to the new commercial, which will be coming out here in just the near future, and there'll be many other designs that will be happening. One of the key important ingredients that we have in this facility is the tooling. We spend many hours of tooling, putting the equipment together. It is important that we use the most advanced tooling possible. We have a continuous moving assembly line. The cubes are moving at all times. We have reduced our packaging of our materials through the education of our vendors. Our vendors now are sending it in the way that we can handle it, the way that we can use it. Our competitors do not have that advantage. We have started in productivity going from 1 unit a day, and the future brings us up to 50,000 living units a year. Last year we had produced in excess of 10,000 units. This year we will be in excess of 13,000 as we move on to 50,000 units. We will have an automatic deck machine sometime this year in. It'll be an automatic machine that'll extrude decks out. There'll be automatically sprayed ceilings that'll be done. Our workers will not have to touch the panel. It'll move to the assembly line. We will have automatically loading of our modules from off of the rear of our assembly line before they are shipped to the field. I've enjoyed talking to you this afternoon in regards to modular manufacturing, and I hope it has been interesting to you and has given you a little bit more insight in the way Cardinal goes about manufacturing today. I again thank you and wish you to come and visit us anytime you wish to get a more insight in the way we manufacture. Thank you again. I hope